Hey, good afternoon, ladies. We are going to do the season's first shout outs since we just got done with that first tournament there. Pretty satisfied overall. I think over the course of the weekend, we went 2-2 in terms of a record, which probably exceeded our expectations as a coach or as a coaching staff. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to run down through a lot of this. It's going to be similar or a little bit of a hybrid on this first one. We'll talk about some individual names in some of those categories: attitude, effort, attendance rate, and execution rate. But we've kind of already learned, or understood what purpose those serve. So just going to name a few of those, and then probably let go of that concept after this shout out. And then we'll just do it very similar to how we did it at the end of last season, where we were analyzing team stats and giving out a few shout outs within those. So, here we go. Finished the weekend at 2-2. Very proud. Some interesting stats there is we scored 27 runs. Okay, they scored 17 runs. So we outscored our opponents by 10. And an interesting piece of information, I'm not sure if you guys are aware or followed that bracket that we were in, but that team that we whipped 8-0, and then the team that we lost to by 1 and basically gave them that win, those two teams played for the championship. So 18U teams, and we competed. So you girls need to understand that we are a good team. And you'll realize once we go through this, we cut out errors, and we're probably in that championship game. So there's a lot of good stuff here to look forward to. But the real message there that resonates immediately is that we can compete. No more guessing, no more wondering. We have all of the ingredients, and we're running a little bit thin right now, in terms of an overall roster, and we're still very efficient and very good. So 2 claps there, ladies. I'd say while we're on the record there, 2-2, I'll just go down through some of the statistics here. I'll start with defense. We came to an understanding last season that our standard for fielding percentage, the expectation for team and personal as well, is 850 and above. Okay, so as y'all learn how to dive into your own stats and review those and analyze them, set your personal standard at 850 or above. Anything below 850, unacceptable. 850 and above, we're in the space we need to be in. So, and this is absolutely incredible. Our defensive effort as a whole is phenomenal. It's interesting because we're very, 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 very efficient with regard to our errors. In fact, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 girls all still at 1,000%. But at this age and at this level, okay, what we're going to learn real quick is that errors are exactly the difference between a win and a loss. And it's certainly the case for us this weekend. But as a whole, on defense, anybody who finished 850 and above got the shout out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 girls on this list. 5 of those girls are all at 1,000. One of them at 915. So the girls that are all at 1,000 are Catherine, Brinley, Winter, Fry, and Ellie. All those girls finished 4 games or finished the tournament this last weekend still at 1,000. The total chances range from actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6. So still very, very good to have committed 0 errors. Lacey Lewis, you finished off the list at 915. And you only had 1 error. And we could probably talk about this 1,000 different ways, but in short order, I want you to understand something. This is big time softball, okay? So, on one hand, you may have held yourself extremely accountable and maybe been disappointed with yourself because you made an untimely error. Totally get it. But you had 12 total chances with 1 error. So That's phenomenal. Very efficient and what we want. The timing of our errors, what we're going to learn as a team, okay? The timing of our errors is what's going to become important as well. Not that any one or two people can lose the game. If we would have hit the ball, scored another run, whatever it is, I'm just telling you that you can't hold yourself so accountable that you can't take notice of the achievement as well. So at the end of the day, that's all I was trying to let you know. Great job. I'm sure it doesn't feel good having the error that you had per se, and not really even an error. We just missed our target by a little bit. I don't think Winter really could have done anything other than what she did, and to be quite honest, it's a questionable call. But anyway, take that away. You finished at 9-15, 12 total chances, only one error. Great job. Moving on down to, so our team defense, we finished at 780 for the tournament. So right there you can quickly see we're well below what our team standard should be of 850. And quite frankly, that's exactly the reason that we didn't have, the win that we needed kind of deal. So think about that stuff as we go through this. It's actually pretty fun. I mean, just to know that you're there, you can compete. One or two errors is now deciding the game instead of having to focus on, 8 or 9 different things. So these are good problems to have. Anyway, moving down to offense. Offense, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a list of 6. Anybody that finished above 350 for the weekend. And this is some incredible stuff here. I mean, as a team, we hit 382. Okay? So we hit enough to win. The gold standard for us was 350 and above, and we finished at 382. So phenomenal job at the plate, and these stats right here will display that. So those top 6 girls that finished above 350, this is insane. Chloe leads the list with a batting average right now of 800. She had 8 hits out of 10 at bats. Incredible numbers. So there's some things there that you girls, Chloe, I'm going to take a second here and kind of highlight your work ethic and, hopefully embarrass you a little bit. Nah, I'm just kidding. But some of you girls need to understand, those type of results, you don't just get those, okay? Chloe puts in, and I'm not saying the rest of us aren't working, but Chloe puts in a lot of work. And then if you look at Chloe's behavior when we're at tournaments and she's at work doing her thing, it's on point. And there's not a lot of room in her regimen for fluff, so to speak. So, there's some things there that we can look at and model after in terms of really honing in, and staying honed in throughout the course of a day and a weekend. So Chloe, again, 2 claps for you. 800 on that batting average, absolutely phenomenal. And then right underneath of her is Catherine. 2 claps. Coming in, being the new kid on the team, being able to finish after that first tournament weekend at 556. You had 5 hits on, looks like maybe 9 at bats. So again, phenomenal. I know it's intimidating. You've got a lot of moving parts right now. You're trying to settle in, calm down, acclimate. All of this stuff is natural. You're doing a great job. But coming in immediately and making the list at number 2, on hitting percentage. And by the way, you smashed a triple. So it's not like, these are little base hits. That was that was big time. So great job there. Way to set the example. I know you put in a lot of work as well. So great job, Catherine. Right below Catherine is Brooklyn Clark, finishing at 500. Brooklyn, you came on, in that tournament. Your bat came alive. You had 3 hits out of 6 at bats. So that's phenomenal for, the stats that you have been through and have so, somewhat been exposed to. That is, you're doubling up where you've come to this point. So there is certainly something to be said for that. So 2 claps. Great job. Right behind her is Lacey. 500 also, 3 hits, 6 at-bats. Lacey, great job on the small ball, okay? I'm not picking on you at all. Your defense has been phenomenal. You're a phenomenal athlete. But we got to get you getting some more reps so that I'm not calling bunt for you all the time. You know, I mean, I think we kind of realized in that game there, I'd give you one swing, and then, you know, if that didn't go the way we wanted it to, we were putting the bat on the ball and bunting, which you executed in a phenomenally great fashion. So I'm not taking anything away from that. But I know you, as a player, probably want to swing the bat as well. So you got to help me out here. We got to take some more reps. We got to get dialed in. I don't need you to hit, you know, stand-up triples, but you should be able to hit singles and, you know, line drive doubles all day long. So let's make that part of our next immediate focus. So, but anyway, great job finishing at 500. Shamo, you're right behind her at 444. You had 4 hits on 9 at-bats. Great job, Shamo. I know you put in a lot of work as well. I appreciate seeing you girls, you know, in the top of that list. Fry, you finished the list off at 375. I know you put in a lot of work as well. You had 3 hits on 8 attempts or 8 at bats. So don't get frustrated, ladies. This is a long-term game. You got to stay committed. There's going to be some ups and some downs. So, but as a team, I want to circle back to that. Phenomenal. You know, we finished at 382. So great job. BK, while we're on offense there, you know, one thing I will say to you is really appreciate the reps you're getting, converting yourself into a multifaceted hitter, you know, adopting that slapping mentality. I want to tell you, keep working because it's right there. I think you surprised yourself. You certainly looked that way. I'm not making fun of you at all, but it looked like you had surprised yourself that you were going to make contact when you did. And that ball hit the turf and bounced up, you know, and it was kind of like this, like that's exactly what we want. Like that's your job. So as you continue to get those reps, I want you to understand and expect that type of action and get out of that box, right? That's the whole reason that we're doing this. So great job. I just wanted to mention that. I know you've been putting in a lot of work. Let me go through RBIs, okay? So again, we talked about Catherine coming in, pulling her weight, finishing at number 2. She also tied for first in the RBI category. Her and Fry both tied with 5 RBIs, and then Shamo finished with 3 RBIs. So that leads the RBI list there. Triples, okay? 2 claps for the girls who had triples. Lacey, you had 1. Catherine, again, you had 1. You smashed, and then Ellie, you had 2. So those, anytime you can consistently be hitting triples, you are going to manufacture runs. So great job there, ladies. Stay committed. Stolen bases. I think this is a typo. 2 claps to CeeLo for having 7 stolen bases. And then old Shamo coming out of the gate hot there, knocking down 2 of them. And then a bunch of y'all had 1 apiece for a total that we had 14 stolen bases. So now we're playing my kind of aggressive ball. You guys are starting to trust your instincts a little bit more, starting to look up, or not look up, but look at opportunities on your own and things of that nature. So that's good. That's good stuff. That's right where we want to be. And then next category would be pitching. You know, talked to Coach Sean about this a little bit. You know, it's kind of hard to analyze numbers with, you know, the limited amount of innings or whatever. But in terms of what we have, you girls were phenomenal. Fry and Catherine, I had you right around 100 pitches. I don't know, one or the other had 6 or 8 more than the other, but basically y'all both had about 100. And then Winter had 162. So, you know, when Emma comes back here in another 2-3 weeks, you know, that load will be lighter as well. And then of course we've got Miranda to help us out. So, you know, from a pitching perspective, we're going to talk about it in one of the other subjects, but from a pitching perspective, we're in a good spot, and you girls did great. Strikeouts look like Winter recorded 5, and Fry and Catherine both tied for recording 4 strikeouts. So 2 claps to y'all there. I have a note here that says, chat about pitchers' individual responsibilities, pool play versus bracket play. Yeah, great job. So again, Catherine, not trying to embarrass you. You know, you'll get used to these shout outs. everybody's going to get talked to in some form, fashion, or another. But one thing I want to tell you is one way that you're going to help yourself out is if you can, like you always hear the word, like, stop aiming it, just throw it. And that's not the message, but it's something along those lines. Your body language looked like it was a little bit tight, a little bit reserved, obviously, right? We've got some nerves, first tournament, new team, blah, 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 blah. The sooner you can get rid of all of that and let your hair down and just get into this ugly 100 mindset, it will be a lot less painful for you. Not saying, that you didn't handle your own, because you did great. But I really want, you have an opportunity, and I want you to use it in the best way that we can. Good opportunity, meaning we have a good bullpen. We're not leaning on you to pull 50, 75% of our innings, with 95% accuracy. We just need you to pound the glove, do you, be carefree, allow the hitters to hit, work the defense, and then as you become more comfortable and we sharpen your sword, then those expectations obviously will change or whatever. But for now, really just need you to get comfortable and have fun. Pound the glove. But great job for what you did there. We really put not pressure on you, but we just wanted you to throw as long as you could throw. We thought you did great in that first game there. Okay, so next thing I'll go through, since we're on the stats, is a couple topics of discussion, kind of regarding stats and plays and the game itself. I'm just going to go down through this list here. Number one, catchers. Okay, groups. I think right now we've only got two catchers maybe till Fergie comes back or whatever. But one thing, catchers, as we continue to progress and it becomes more competitive, the batters are now playing a certain level of defense against us, right? The girl in the batter's box, and if they got a girl on third, that batter can mess with us as a catcher. And I know we've all seen the crazy TikToks or YouTubes or whatever of the girl throwing the ball at the girl when she stepped out of the box and hit her in the face, okay? And I'm certainly not talking about trying to be ferocious in that sense. We're never trying to cause harm. But one thing that we noticed on one of those batters specifically, when we had a runner on third, is that she consistently stepped back out of the box and indirectly made you have to pause or take another nano step to the side, which ultimately is an advantage. And so, the interesting part about being a coach is one of my jobs to help us understand how to take advantage of the rules, right? And create opportunity for ourselves. And the rule is, if the batter gets out of the batter's box and creates contact on your throw down to third, then we're awarded interference and the batter's out. So one thing I want us to think about is understanding that. Because don't think for 1 second that batter is not trying to do that on purpose, okay? Like we're playing big girl softball. So I don't want anybody throwing a ball in someone's ear or nose, but there's no reason that you can't draw contact with the bat somehow on a throw so that we can, elect to get interference, which is truly what's happening. She's trying to block your throwing lane on the way down there. So that's one thing from a competitive environment that we can hone in on, is getting more aware of what's happening in our space, and is there, some opportunity there. But anyway, great job, CeeLo. I know you may be upset with yourself for a few of those throws, but look, that's done. It's past us. It's not the end of the world, and I think at the end of the day, it's probably just a little bit of a lesson, where not all the time do we have to throw down with the expectation that we're going to get the girl. I know Coach Kirk talked to you about that. We don't need to circle that wagon, but I just wanted to notate it. And then while we're talking about catchers, coaches appreciate LAU cycling back through that spot. I don't think it means anything to you. Like, I don't think you feel any kind of way about it. I think you like it. But just wanted to formally say, thanks for doing that. I know there was a little bit of rust there, and I was kind of grinding my teeth a little bit. So appreciate, you working through that just like I did. But look, we got to be versatile. So there's no excuses, right? There was a little bit of rust, but it wasn't bad. So I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. From now on, we need to start focusing on this in practice. But I want to make a mandate that says on defense, when the ball is hit, out of the infield, the catcher is the quarterback on the field from now on. The catcher is in charge of screaming at the top of her lungs and telling us where to go with that ball. And then if you do not follow those instructions, there'll be discipline according. But we've got to get some more control, some more audible control happening on the field. And I want the catchers to do that. All of us coaches do. So moving on. Kaylee, okay? I'm not singling you out, but I'm singling you out in the sense that this is kind of funny because we literally just got done going through this with Miranda. And Miranda, I hope you start laughing when you're watching this because KK is suffering from the same disease that you did, Miranda, for a few weeks or a month there where, you were not operating inside of yourself and you were having frustrations at the plate. Once we got you to be calm, cool, collected, keep your shoulder down, hit into it, operate at 85, you started hammering the ball. So, you got to understand, Kaylee, that you're not going to be able to produce at 100 unless you get down to 85 while you're operating, okay? And I know you understand the IQ behind that message. I just need you to do that ASAP. This weekend is your chance, okay? Pitchers, as a whole, okay? You're on a good team. We saw this. We got to talk to Fry. Thank you, Fry, for helping us kind of expand our relationship around pitchers and things of that nature. But, you pitchers need to understand that you're on a good team. You got a good bullpen. And as a pitcher, you almost have to be like one of the most tenacious but yet honest athletes on the field. Meaning, the tenacity behind you as an athlete is going to get you through when you need it to. But then there's also this ability, and it's interesting to talk about because we always talk about going 100% and leaving it all on the field and all these other things. And I'm not saying that message is false, but what I'm saying for as a pitcher is sometimes deciding when you have laid it all out on the field is the next cheat code for you. So, for instance, Fry and us coaches were able to have a conversation at the end of that last tournament, and I think she felt a little bit off and didn't have it. And so what I really want, and at that moment in time, so that moment was when she should have and did draw the line in the sand and said, I've left it all out on the field, timeout if we're in the middle of an inning, because the reality is, and this is the big girl part of the message, you can do more damage for the entire cause of the team and our effort to win because you weren't able to call a timeout and say, Coach, I don't have it anymore. I can't go anymore. Time to replace me. So I want to challenge you pitchers as we progress through the rest of this season, to hold yourself accountable. That none of you have the personality. None of you pitchers that are in our rotation have the personality to take yourself out of the game, okay? We all know none of you are quitters. But now we're in a position where being mature and responsible is an advantage for us. So again, if you don't have it, and I'm not talking about pool play game, pull your pants up and get through it. I don't care. Bracket play game, we got to know. If you don't have it, you don't have it. We go to the next girl. Boom. It is what it is, okay? So I just wanted to remind you pitchers of that kind of globally. Where are we at next? Huge thanks to Miss Audrey Ferguson, okay? If you guys don't know, she's waiting on an MRI for a shoulder. Hope I'm not telling your business, but you're part of the team. You haven't been playing, so I just wanted to give a little information, as I say, for myself and the rest of the coaching staff. Thank you for being there this weekend. You girls that were there saw her having just as much fun as you guys were. She was in the dugout calling pitches, which is cool. Kind of helped us establish something new there. She led that charge. She got a bunch of video footage for me while I was doing stuff so I could continue to do what I needed to do, and yet she was still involved, so I could make some reels and record some different things. So, that really, to me, embodies the efforts of a good teammate. And I know Audrey, we all know you're chomping at the bit, okay? So, of course, we're all praying for you and hope that you have a speedy recovery. But until then, thank you very much. Really appreciate your involvement there. I only have a few more things here, and then we're done. The last thing that I want to go down through is these are some of the individual shout outs away from the stats and just kind of an overall review of the team. Again, this will probably be the last week the last shout out, that we really talk about attitude, effort, execution rate, and punctuality. But I wanted to notate it real quick, and again, if your name's not getting called, we apologize. This is not, and I know you guys are all big girls, but this is not something where all 15 of you are going to get your name called every time. So you really need to be working hard in some of these different categories to stick out or shine brighter or whatever, because that's what some of this stuff is meant to do, which then turns into, motivation for the rest of your teammates. So for attitude, honestly, everybody. We don't have any bad attitudes anymore. Some of you need to work on your own personal level of grit at different times, but in terms of attitude, really everybody gets 2 claps there. A few names here that have stood out collectively amongst the coaches, just over the last few weeks would be KK, Brindley, and Fry. There's a lot of things we enjoy about you girls as personalities. Brindley, you and KK being new to the team, that certainly, is a good achievement to have, coaches taking notice of your overall attitude in general. So great job. 2 claps, ladies. Effort, okay? Again, everybody who's made a play, everybody who's caught a ball, everybody who's got an out, everybody who's got a hit, everybody who, X, Y, and Z, all of those things fall under effort. So, some of the ones that have stuck out, if you will, would be Chloe. In general, as an athlete, as a person on our roster, as a girl that you guys can use as a mentor, her level of effort doesn't stop. I don't know if you guys have ever paid attention to Chloe outside of your eye or corner of your eye or whatever, but the chick doesn't stop. She has an intrinsic motivation that really helps her display high degrees of effort. She's got her own, warm up and band work routine before. I don't tell her to do that stuff. I look over and she's got all kinds of stuff going. So from an effort perspective, those are the types of things that you've got to do to stand out. So 2 claps, Chloe. Great job there. Catherine, the pitching, okay? You're getting called out in this category as a good thing. 2 claps, good thing on the pitching. But the message is there is to continue to let it go, okay? Let it go. Do not care about the results. Have fun and find some more top end to your velo, because you can. You do not have to be. You don't have to walk on eggshells, okay? We've got a roster. Moving down to execution rate. Again, we've got a lot here, but we've got Ellie, everybody who hit triples, okay? So there were Ellie, Catherine, Lacey, I think that was it. Lacey, your defense on the execution rate, again, unbelievable. Making double plays, making crazy matrix catches that only Lacey makes. All of those things are crazy. And then Chloe, again, your bat on the execution rate. Anytime somebody's posting an 800 average, you got to notate that or shine a light on that as many times as you can. So 2 claps, Chloe, 800. Great job. Punctuality and attendance. Look, this is a non-issue for us, and I love it. So every once in a while, I'll bring a little light to this. But, even with us being down or out a few players on the roster, attendance and punctuality is still a non-issue. So great job. Appreciate that effort there. The other thing I wanted to say, in terms of ladies who made errors, okay? We're going to put our big girl panties on here real quick. I'm going to talk to a few of you that made errors. I'm not coming at you. We've got to be able to talk about this stuff as a team. I want another girl to be able to hear, what I'm saying to you guys as a result of some of these errors, And Lacey, again, kind of already talked to you about yours, but, that's a tough one. There's no way around that. It's tough. It's tough to look in the mirror and digest it. It's tough to make an excuse for it or an alibi or whatever it is, right? Like the throw was just a little bit high. So there's nothing more to tell you that you need to work on. It's not an athletic problem. And the ultimate goal of going down through some of these and talking about them is to get you girls to understand that this is not athleticism, okay? This is just mental toughness. We've got to tighten the screws down continuously to become more mentally stable, because the brain is what makes the body do what it's supposed to do. So again, it's nothing about athleticism. It's just a mental mistake. That throw was off by 5 or 6, 7 degrees. That's a mental mistake, not athletic. So stay loose and relax on that. I can probably guarantee you will never make that mistake again this season. KK, okay, you're in the same boat in terms of probably feeling heavy feelings about yourself and the timing of that error as well, But again, your efficiency is good. And what I want to tell you is, you could probably get hit another 9 grounders at that same speed and intensity, and you'd probably field every single one of them. So again, sometimes our mistakes and sometimes the error is not a representation of a lack of work or work ethic, or I'm not necessarily good enough to make this play. But in that one moment, really the only thing you can look at is, I guess I could have just been a little bit more prepared. And that's where you really have to hold yourself accountable. That's the beauty of being on good teams. That's the beauty of playing quality softball, is we're not talking about 15 things, right? We're talking about 1 or 2 finite things to get better at. And both of those errors, really are just a matter of a scenario where we just should have been a little bit more ready, I guess, Shay, I had you down, but for some reason I can't remember what your error was. If it was a drop ball, then I'll group, that saying in. Brooklyn, I was going to tell you the same thing. Ladies, look, there's no excuse for a ball to come out of the glove. If we've got a ball in a glove, you have another hand that is not doing a freaking thing. So I'm not mad at anybody, but I'm just telling you, there's zero level of patience from my end or the coaching staff if a ball is inside of the pocket or the glove and it pops back out. That's just not being ready. It's being unathletic. It's not understanding, how, all of those things. So to me, a ball popping out of the glove is unacceptable. And really, it's the same thing, because y'all can catch balls. You just weren't mentally prepared working through that play. So fix those mistakes. We cannot have balls hopping out of gloves. CeeLo, I don't want you to feel heavy, weighted down. Okay, it's the first tournament. I know that you are your own worst critic, so please don't feel like I'm adding to that. But what I want to tell you is this, okay? Your phenomenal athleticism is still also something that can get us in trouble, right? Like the whole less is more thing. So I just simply want to remind you that if you operate at 85, quite frankly, that is equal to a lot of other girls is 110 or 115. So throws down to third, throws down to first, unless some girls got you like under your skin and you're trying to get her out, those throws down there can be check throws, And if we get her, we get her. But if not, we're just checking her and there's no damage. Because the reality is, you're probably not throwing down to the base, like really trying to get her out every single time. So we can manage that, reduce some of those errors. But anyway, I don't want anybody to feel bad there. The next thing is, okay. And I think Mia may have been in this position too, but Chloe got tagged out at home, and we asked her when she got to the dugout if she got tagged, like straight up. Did you get tagged before or not? And she said, I didn't get tagged until after I touched the plate, which we all can agree that's a bad call. Here's what I need you guys to understand. We take that bad call out of play if we get our ass on the ground. And I'm certainly not mad at Chloe at all. She's a hustler. She had 14 stolen bases. Like, Chloe didn't do anything wrong per se. But it's like, this team as a whole, we've had some instances over the last few years where we're getting tagged out because we're up, and we think we got a girl beat by a step or whatever the case is. And I don't want to irritate anybody, but I want to motivate you, okay? Get your butts on the ground. If there's nobody around, do a pop slide. But the mentality of walking through a base has to be eliminated. Then we increase our margin of efficiency by a few more percent by simply eliminating a behavior. So I don't want to come into bases up anymore. I don't want girls ever to get tagged out this season on a swipe, drop, pop, tag, whatever, because we weren't down. It's too easy not to do that. So in summary, base runners, you know, great job again for the 14 stolen bases and all these other things, but we need to maximize, and we got to be down. So that's the new rule. Okay, you're down when you come into a base. Mia, great job, great addition to the team. Okay, your bat is okay, coming alive, you're getting comfortable. What I would tell you about some of the errors you had is just simply this: dirt plays different than turf. There's no rocket science there, but I will tell you that on dirt, you and it's very minor, if you will, but it does create the bobble where it'll eat you up. You have to play through the ball every single time. On turf, you can get away from just being in front of the ball, and there's a guarantee that the ball is going to continue to transfer velocity until something solid stops it. Your glove, your body, your foot, your ankle, whatever. But when we're playing on dirt, that's the difference. The fluff of the dirt. Now, if we're playing on a dirt hard pan, that would operate and perform very similar to turf. But most dirt fields that we've played on or will play on are going to have a ½ inch to an inch sometimes of fluff. And you just simply have to adjust your mindset and go attack and work through the ball rather than receiving the ball. So no big deal. We talked to JB about it. I know you guys will work on it. I'm not worried about it at all. With regard to errors, okay, here's what I need y'all to do. We're almost done. But with regard to errors, I don't want any body language after the error, okay? The negative body language, like you're trying to talk to yourself and punish yourself and all this other stuff. What I'd really want is for everybody to tap their chest and own their mistake, okay? So for instance, Shay, if you made a mistake in left field and dropped the freaking ball, your job is to look at Winter, get Winter's attention, because she threw a ball that a girl hit that you should have caught, okay? Instead of being selfish and throwing your own pity party, get Winter's attention and tell her, hey girl, that's my fault. And that's going to do a couple things. One, help her feel better immediately. And two, change the focus and direction of the initial amount of energy that you put into that, you personally. So, you know, CeeLo, in your position, you chuck one over third base's head. Oh, you hear one of those. Who cares? Get third base's attention. Tap your chest. Make sure she knows, you know, it's your fault. It's not on her. And then we can move on. And I think that will help us, you know, in certain situations. But I want that to be the standard where you're taking the pressure off of someone. Own the mistake. Tap your chest and call it out. And then we move on, okay? I think that was it. All right, so in closing here, the games this weekend, okay? It's the Blaze Jamboree. This is not about winning and losing. It's more of a college showcase, internal jamboree festival kind of deal. So what I really want you guys to think about is being the absolute best version of yourself this weekend in your approach to everything. Pretend like the top 10 colleges on your list are going to be there, and they're watching your every move, and they can hear everything that you're talking about, okay? So come excited. I'm excited. We've got a great start to this season. And as we progress to do those things, I invited Ellie to be on here with me, but she's jammed up like a lot of you guys are with school stuff. But one cool thing I'd like to do is to have some of you girls come on and sit. We'll make it into a panel, you know, like an ESPN set, and can do some of those like that. I'd rotate this around. I'd go up to Burnett. You know, I'd go over to Lake Travis. I'd go to Georgetown, you know, anywhere up to Lampasas. Anywhere I could go to do these and get, you know, a couple girls to sit in on them with me and make them. I think that would be fun. So we'll talk about this weekend. All right. Love you guys. Let's go get them. Go Blaze.